regardless of what happened, regardless of what they did, try to understand them. Try to see them as human beings, not your superheroes. They're not superheroes. They're humans, and they love you incredibly. Hi, lovelies. I went to dinner with my dad today. We had a conversation about men. It made me realize daddy issues are a thing. Hold on. My other kitty wants to be part of this. So my dad and I went to dinner today and we had a conversation about men. We're talking about things that we've never talked about before. My dad has always been part of my life. He wasn't always around as much as when I was a baby or younger. My parents got divorced when I was 10. He stopped coming around as much. He was still part of my life. My father has always been part of my life. He just wasn't around as much when I was a teenager, and I understood that. At least I thought I understood that. As I've gotten older, my dad and I have built a different relationship. We understand each other now on a more adult and personal level. We have conversations that we haven't had before. The hard conversations. We discuss things about his relationship. He is in a current relationship with someone else. I ask questions. I give him advice. He gives me advice, and vice versa, because we're both adults now and we can do this with each other. But we were discussing men today specifically. He was telling me not to be on the lookout for a man all the time, to just enjoy my life. He was telling me that the right person will come along and I don't need to be necessarily looking for this person or out there in search of my person, because then you attract the wrong people for the wrong reasons. This is a conversation that my father and I haven't had. I don't think that he was around when I was a teenager enough to have these conversations and teach me these things or tell me his perspective on men. And I get now why it's so important to have a father figure in your life. Whether you're a female or a man, it's important to have a father figure in your life, especially as a woman, because men know men. He was also telling me that men don't view sex the way that we women do. That we as women need to learn how to understand men and learn more about men and how they function, because we keep on doing it wrong. We as women are seeking things out of men that don't exist. And he's not telling me this because he's a bad man, but because he knows men and he has been this man. He's not a bad person, but he's a man. He doesn't want to see me in those predicaments. He was also telling me that as men, they don't like a woman that gives it up easy. And he was telling me that if I really like someone, or if somebody really likes me, they're gonna want to wait. The longer you prolong sex, the more a man will respect you. Now, these are all things that fathers teach their daughters because they are men. Because I didn't have my dad around as much when I was a teenager, like I said, these are conversations that never happened. Not only that, but in general, I feel like my father is old school and he's Mexican. He's very closed off to his emotions. He barely opens up about what he's actually feeling and what he thinks. He's very quiet. He likes his peace. He's just enjoying life. He's very, very calm and doesn't like to conversate much. So for my father and I to be able to have a conversation like this, where he's genuinely speaking to me, telling me what's on his mind, how he feels, how he would like to see me approach relationships. It means a lot, and it felt really good, to be honest, to be at lunch with him and have these conversations, because they haven't always happened, and not because I haven't wanted them, but because, like I said, he's very old school, and his parents never taught him how to express himself or talk to people. He's always been really shy and reserved, obviously. I am the complete opposite. I love to express myself. I love to talk. I share my emotions and my feelings. I've been babied. My father and my mother both babied me so much when I was younger. I had the best childhood. They spoiled me, not only with love and attention, but with things. I had a Wii, I had a DS, I had a computer, I had a phone at age 12. Not a phone, I wasn't an iPad kid. I was definitely playing outside, but I definitely was spoiled. And I love my parents for this. They gave me such an amazing childhood. They would take us everywhere. They would take us shopping. They would take us to the river, to the pools. We always had money to eat out with our friends for McDonald's. I had an allowance. My mother gave me my first car at 16. And my father was always there up until they got a divorce, and he pulled back a little bit during my teenage years, which obviously are a huge transition in a young adult's life. The teenage years kind of make or break you, I feel like, because when you're going through these phases, you're probably doing a lot of crazy things. At least I was. Not everyone is like that, but teenagers are a little crazy. So not having my father there during the crazy years of my life definitely affected me a little bit. Coming back to that relationship now, I had the conversation with him, and I have asked him things that I wanted to ask him. But we have a great relationship now. Now, I know that not everyone's fathers have been around or in people's lives like this. And it made me really think today how important it is to have a father figure. That it really does make a difference, especially for women. I can't imagine not having my dad around. Even those years that he wasn't around as much, I have always had him in my life. I have. It just wasn't as much during my teenage years. And I was so used to being spoiled with attention and love and having my parents there all the time that obviously it affected me. But I have always had a father figure in my life. He's always been a great father, just not really expressive. And now we're both at a different stage in our lives where we're both learning how to express ourselves and have these conversations, and I truly appreciate it. But yeah, these conversations with my dad now, I truly value, and I have learned to appreciate. It's very important to, if your father was not there during a certain period of your life, for you to reach out as an adult and build that connection with your father, because you will only ever have one. You will only... What the fuck? It's important to build that relationship and connection with your father. If your father wasn't there for a period of time in your life, or something happened that made him not be around as much, it's important to build that connection with him now as an adult. I'm 25. My father and I really truly started building the bond that we have when I was around 20. That we started having these conversations, these in-depth conversations, that I started asking the questions and just truly getting to know him as a person rather than seeing him as just a father. I started seeing him as a human being, because our parents are human beings. I truly respect my father. I understand him now a lot more than I did when I was younger. It is important to build that relationship because you will only have one father in your life, and it's very different than the mother role. The father plays a certain role and the mother plays a certain role. I appreciate mothers. They go above and beyond for their children and their kids, but they're not men. Women can try to replace and be the only person in a child's life, but it's not the same. The reality is that men bring a different perspective, a different view of the world, of relationships, of women, of men to you. They bring different perspectives and they share this with you. It's important to have conversations with your fathers. It's important to ask questions, to be curious and dive deeper with them, see what's in their psyche, because men think very differently. The closest man to you should be your father. If your father is still alive, reach out to them. Shoot them a text message, call them, set up a meeting with them, go out to lunch, appreciate them, love them, because I promise you that if your father died tomorrow, you would regret it. Do it now if he's still alive, to be honest. And if you don't have the luxury to, if for some reason he already passed or he is completely MIA from your life, that is just unfortunate. But if he really is MIA, then that's just unfortunate. Like I said, sometimes life just sucks for some people and we can't do anything about it. But this is for the people, obviously, that have a choice, that have an option of having their fathers around and you choose not to. Do it. Do it anyways. Like I said, the conversation that I had with my dad today and the relationship that I'm building with him, I really, really appreciate. My life has shifted a lot, to be honest. Now that I turned 25 this year, my priorities are different. I'm prioritizing my family, my friends, my relationships, my connections, my sleep, my skincare routines, my health, my body, working out. My priorities have definitely shifted. And I am so incredibly grateful for my father and the relationship that I have with him. And I've learned to value that, especially now that I'm having deeper conversations with him and he's opening up more. It truly makes me appreciate him and see him for who he is as a human and not just my dad. We love our dads. Fathers play a really, really big role in our lives, and it's important to maintain that connection. Sometimes you, as the son, the daughter, you have to be the bigger person because our parents didn't have the awareness. They don't have the expanded consciousness that we do. They don't have the awareness. They didn't get the education. They didn't get a chance to live the life that we are living because of them. Regardless of what happened, regardless of what they did, try to understand them. Try to see them as human beings, not your superheroes. They're not superheroes. They're humans and they love you incredibly. They love you so, so very much. And they tried their best. Just try to see them for that. Everything that they did do. Everything that they did try to do for you. Because they truly, truly are just people. And we can't blame them for their mistakes. Because we didn't live their lives. We can imagine things, but we did not walk their path. We have no idea what they were thinking, what's going on inside their hearts, inside their souls. So have conversations with them. Already it's hard for men to express themselves, especially as fathers, as men in general. And the way that they were raised back then, they weren't taught any of that, how to express themselves. Be the bigger person. Have the conversation with your dad. Call them. Call them right now. Don't even wait for this video to be over. Like, call them right now and just tell your dad you love him. Because he's the only dad you're gonna get. Trust me. You were literally a little sperm cell inside their balls at one point. That was so uncalled for, but that's how close you are to your dad. Like, you are literally a part of them. Please, YouTube, don't ban me for the language, but I love you guys. Call your dad. Blessings. I will see you guys in the next video. Okay.